We are starting right now. Hey, everybody. Happy January 31st, and welcome to the Goelzer area Google Hangout. I am so excited. I've got a little darkness going on in my office here. My lighting isn't so great, but I'm looking dark and sexy tonight, as I told Amy. So I'm excited for you guys to be on. Before we get started with our actual training from our consultant, Amy Newball from the Nikki Hill National Area. Hello, from the Nikki Hill unit. And also, God willing, Goelzer will be on because they are the two women, consultant and director, who had the most bookings for the booking challenge. But before I do that, I'm going to ask you guys for some prayers. Okay, some of you know Judy Wilson. If you don't know the name, Judy Cork. If you don't know the name, she was actually our national area's queen of sales. Out of our 2,000 consultants, she was the queen of sales for our entire national area, and she is from the Terry Wilson unit. Oh my goodness, I just got blurry here. Super blurry. Okay. And why I want you to keep her and her family in your prayers is because shortly after Christmas, after New Year's, Judy came down, she got sick, and they thought it was a virus, and they thought it was pneumonia, and it got really bad, you guys. And she lives in Anchorage, Alaska, and they actually sent her down to Oregon to more intensive care there. And unfortunately, the word that we're getting is that Judy is not doing well. She is a woman in her early 50s. She and Terry have been friends for years, before Mary Kay even, and they worked in the legal business together. And so if you could please keep Judy and her family in your prayers. We do not know what's happening with them. It's not good. It's not good. And Terry is, she's a trooper and she's staying strong. But, she was her #1 consultant, and she's one of her best friends. And so if you can please keep them in your prayers, we will send out more information tomorrow. We're actually going to send something to the hospital from the Goelzer area. And so we'll keep you informed of that. And then the second person I would love for you to keep in your prayers is none other than DIQ from Nikki Hill's unit, Mary McIntosh. And she is finishing up qualifications tonight, you guys. She is finishing, but it's not all in the computer yet. So they're not on the Google Hangout tonight. Mary and Nikki are working hand in hand to get this done in the next 4 hours. But if you could pray that the Lord blesses their efforts, that you could pray that the Lord opens people's hearts to say yes, and to say yes right now, that would be amazing. So thank you guys for that as we get started with our Google Hangout tonight. Well, okay, here we go. I gave a challenge like on a Thursday for everyone in our national area that whoever had 10 parties on their books by this Google Hangout, they would get a prize from me. And the first person who got the 10 bookings on the books, I would ask to share on the Google Hangout this evening, because we want to hear from people who are doing it, right? And so the person who got to 10 first was none other than Amy Newball, who is joining us from Oregon. Oh my goodness, I'm loving this Google Hangout. And so, Amy, are you ready to share tonight?
Yes, I am.
Okay, super. So what we're going to do, you guys, is Amy, I'm going to ask you a couple questions, if that's okay. And then you're going to take it from there. So we'll just get the ball rolling. Now, Amy, how long have you been a Mary Kay consultant?
I've actually been a consultant since November of 2013.
2013. And you started your business in the Houston, Texas area, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now tell us about how you got to Oregon, what brought you there, and how long you've lived there.
Well, I've actually been living in Vancouver, Washington, which is, it's basically like spring is to Houston. So I actually moved here in October. It was either be laid off from my job or take a promotion in Portland, Oregon. They laid off about 80 people, so I honestly do feel blessed that they did offer me something else. But it was a promotion into an engineering position, and it's probably been one of the most stressful and hard things I have ever done.
And so how long have you lived in Vancouver? And tell us a little bit about your family, right? You have one child and you're married. So how long have you lived there, and tell us a little bit about your family?
So I moved here in last October, and I have a 14-year-old son. He plays a lot of hockey. So we're constantly at hockey. And I have a wonderful husband. He actually himself is going to go into sales. He has his last interview with Comcast this week. So he's really excited and getting ready for that too.
That's exciting, Amy. That's exciting. You're inspiring your family to be entrepreneurs. So, Amy, you moved in October. It is now January 31st. So less than 3 months, less than 90 days after moving, you were the first consultant in our Goelzer National area to have 10 parties on your books. And so I think, first of all, what people want to know is, who are you booking since you moved to a new area? Who did you book?
Well, I will honestly tell you that I could have been using every excuse to not book because you know what, I work from home now and I only leave to go to church, take my son to and from school, and go to his hockey. And I don't know a single person here, and I've been changing that by going to some networking events. But I started going to Crystal Trojanowski's boot camp. And we've been talking a lot. I mean, I've just been getting a lot of confidence. And since I don't know anybody, I've actually been warm chatting because I made the decision and the commitment and the willingness to go into DIQ and to become a sales director. I had to start doing something I wasn't willing to do before, and that was warm chat. And so what I do when I'm warm chat is if somebody makes eye contact with me, smiles back at me, then I actually just say, would it offend you if I gave you my business card? And I hand them my business card at the same time. And of course, they're going to go, well, no, of course I don't. And I say, well, my name is Amy, and I teach skincare and cosmetics with Mary Kay, and I would love to offer you a free microdermabrasion facial. And they were like, really, free? And so, I don't know why I was so scared to warm chat before, because it is a scary thing, but once you start doing it, it becomes easy.
So, Amy, do you intentionally go out and say, okay, I'm going to go warm chatter? Do you intentionally do that, or do you do it in your day-to-day activity? Tell us about your thought process with that.
I do it in my day-to-day activity because I am bound in my office. So, if I go out to get gas, or I have to run down to Portland to my job on site, then I make sure to try and make a stop so that I can talk to somebody, whether it be somebody else gassing up at the pump. That's actually been one of the places I've been getting leads, is at the gas station. But I also took the courage and I asked the women at a few of the women that are hockey moms, and a lot of them, they're high executives. One of them actually that I booked, she normally would have been on my chicken list, but I asked her, I said, you know what, I just moved here, don't know a lot of people, but I would love to book you for some pampering. I know that you're out of country a lot for your job, and then when you are here, you're just doing hockey. So she said, I would love to do that because I do need pampering in my life.
Amy, how did it feel when you got up the courage to talk to that high level woman like that? Tell us about how you were feeling on the inside, and what gave you the courage to talk to her.
I was scared. I was scared to talk to her because, I've always focused on, well, what are people going to think about me? I'm an engineer. Why am I doing Mary Kay? But, when I stopped worrying about what people were going to think about me and I'm focusing on the people, it's given me a lot of confidence. And two, one of the things is that one thing that I learned at Crystal's boot camp, and I will say this, it's actually what Mary Kay asked us what she asked us she promised that we would promise her. And it says, I want you to promise me that you will take our product and our wonderful opportunity to every highway and byway, and don't let one stone go unturned. Be sure every woman who will sit long enough will receive both the facial and our story. Promise me you will do that. Remember that your only job is to give away your job. And I really want to, blessing people, I think, is just something that is important. We always want to make someone feel special.
Amy, it's so interesting that you say that, because I was just at a January Jumpstart boot camp in Minnesota, and we totally talked about that. You know, when people, I never got to meet Mary Kay, and I know you didn't either. But when people would say, they would see her at seminar and they'd take her hand, they'd say, oh, Mary Kay, thank you so much. You know, what can I do? And she'd take their hand, and she said exactly what you would say, Amy. She would say, pass it on. And it was so interesting what you said, Amy, that when you stopped thinking about what other people would think, you started being more confident. Yeah. And thinking about the other person. And look at, like, she was excited. She was excited that you're pampering her. You know what's so funny, you guys, is that most of us on this Google Hangout are not engineers. We're not as smart as you, Amy.
I'm not smart.
Yes, you are. But that you would think, what would people think? You know, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, you're an engineer and you're doing Mary Kay. How awesome is that? You must be, this business opportunity must be amazing. That's what I would think, Amy. If you told me that you were doing Mary Kay and you're an engineer, I'd be impressed. I just want you to know that. Okay, so last question I have for you, my friend, is how are you turning, well, first of all, I actually have two questions. What made you decide to make the decision that you want to be a sales director, right? You've got a great job, you work from home, you know, why do you even want to be a sales director? What happened in your brain and your heart that you came to that conclusion?
So I will say that these past couple of weeks have been really challenging in my job. I have been working till 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. And you know what? And in this week and this last weekend, I barely saw my family. And I'm done doing that. If I'm going to be up till 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, I want that to be with my husband and my son.
I'm not even going to ask any questions about that
one. You know, or, you know, it's the end of the month and I'm working hard to meet those goals. And so that's really, I don't want to be on call 24/7 anymore.
That, you know what, and I think we forget about that, Amy, you know, because Mary McIntosh is going to be working until midnight tonight to finish up that goal. But you guys, in other jobs, you work till 2 in the morning anyway, just like what Amy's talking about. And that's so interesting. You know, we're like, oh, Mary Kay, we have to work so hard. Really? I'd rather work hard for myself, right, Amy, than for a corporation that's going to tell you have to move or you get fired.
Right. And one thing, too, that I'll mention, the one thing that changed from me actually getting the bookings was I learned in Crystal's boot camp. She said, I got to turn to the page. She goes, texting is for lazy consultants. You will never fully book over text. Pick up the phone.
I agree, sister. I'm talking to all week about calling.
I will tell you what, when I picked up that phone and started calling people, one thing I wasn't willing to do before, they heard the excitement in my voice, and every single one of them booked. And that is how I went, because I actually started booking on Wednesday. And every single one booked. They heard the excitement in my voice, because even though I was so drained, I was filling myself up in the morning with, you know, boxes from you and Nikki and Crystal and anything I could get my hands on to motivate me. And now that's where it's brought me. You know, I've honestly I've never gotten 10 bookings in 3 days.
So excited. Everything you have said, Amy, it's so funny. You guys, there's nothing new in Mary Kay, but it's just, you know, being willing, seeing the big picture, being willing to do what you haven't been willing to do before. And you guys, 10 bookings in 3 days. And I loved how you just broke it down for us. You moved to a new place. You just started to be willing to talk to people and ask them that question. Would you be offended if I gave you my business card? That's a great question, you guys. And then getting up the courage to talk to those quote-unquote scary people, because everybody's the same, you guys. Everybody wants to be pampered. Everybody wants to be made to feel special. So, Amy Newball, we are so excited that you earned this challenge and so excited that you took the opportunity and used this platform to be such an influence. You guys, it's Amy Newball, Newball. And so if you want to Vox her and let her know what she said tonight that made a difference in your life, please do so, because affirming people is such a great way to do that. All right, we are going to have another guest speaker on the what is this thing, Google Hangout this evening. So super excited for that. So thank you, Amy. We have, let's see, I also gave your sales directors the challenge to get 10 parties on their books. And I just have to give a shout out because right before I got on this Google chat, I checked the numbers, and you guys listen to this. Your directors with 10 parties on their books is Crystal Pounds, Trisha Bless, Jamie Lopez, and Tammy Cloud. Congratulations. You guys have leaders who are leading by example. A lot of the other directors had 7, 8, 9, you know, that kind of thing. But these are the women that cross the line right now. And I know that some of you are going to get to 10 before you go to bed tonight. Keep your word to yourself. That's the most important person you're ever going to keep your word to is yourself. I just have to give a shout out to Brianna Douglas, who had 12 parties on her books as of the viewing of this Google Hangout. And then finally, we have the winner of the booking challenge, Cara Goelzer. In fact, just came home from a party. She just hopped on the Google Hangout right now. Cara Goelzer has 13 parties on her book. So, Karis, we want to hear from you. Go ahead.
Well, hello. Thank you so much for having me on the Google Hangout tonight. I literally just walked in from my party like 2 minutes ago. So it was an awesome party. I'm super excited. So I have 13 books in my books, and those have pretty much all come from, I did a customer appreciation a couple weeks ago with my Francesca store here in town, which is a clothing boutique. And I literally booked pretty much everyone that talked to me on the phone. Like Amy said, I called them up, was so excited that they were going to get a makeover and facial, and they all booked. And I'm like, guess what? It's good for you and up to 5 friends. They're like, no way! So everyone has a party, everyone books. And when I got to that party, I booked everyone there for their own party too. So it's just normal for each person to have follow-ups at the party because they're friends to the same exact thing, and they had so much fun they wanted to do it over again. So all those bookings really came from one night. I was at Francesca's for 3 hours giving out wooden roses to every person that walked into the store and said, oh my goodness, you came at the perfect time today. It is Women's Celebration Day, so you get a rose. And they're like, no way. So each person gets a rose. And then we tried a new idea that I learned from Trisha Bless, and it was really exciting. And so I actually had this vase jar right here, just a regular glass vase with a cute pink bow on it. It was handy right next to my little iPad here. Okay, so we had a glass vase filled with a bunch of different Mary Kay products, as much as that could fit inside this glass vase. Right. And I had my assistant count out how many were in the glass vase, and she told me the number. And so I said, yes, you get a rose just for coming today. And we're also giving away some amazing prizes. We're giving away a gift card to Francesca's, Mary Kay products, and all entries get a free facial and makeover. So then they walk over to the table, and I show them, okay, if you can guess the number of products that are in this vase, you are my grand prize winner. And it was so funny to watch everybody, like they would just eyeball it, okay, I know it, or they would like try to count every single product inside of that vase. And so it's just a fun way for them to sign up and win, and not just like enter to win something. They had to like actively guess what was in the vase, and they wanted to win. Who doesn't want to win a guessing game? Like those M&Ms in kindergarten, you all counted that and wanted to win how many M&Ms were in that vase in kindergarten. And it's the same exact thing. And then I called them and be like, so how close was I? Like, was I super close? What was the real number? Like, everyone asked me, what was the real number, Karis? And it was just so funny. And so then I did it with a fellow consultant. So we each kind of stood at both ends of the doorway. So if they turned around, they wouldn't be able to sneak past us. We had them enter a slip, and we called in the next 24 to 48 hours. And guys, I haven't had time to call the names yet because I've been so busy doing parties and getting bookings. So I still have like 10 names to call yet. So we literally each got 23 names, so 46 names in total in 3 hours. And all of them know they're getting a facial and amazing Mary Kay ladies, because we were nice and gave them a rose and sent them into a drawing. So we called all of them and just said that they were winners, or they were a runner-up winner in my drawing. They are receiving their free facial just for entering the drawing. And sometimes I'd even offer the runner-up winners a free product. Like, you want a free mascara along with the facial, or you want a half-off product along with your facial. So they're actually winning a prize, not just like, oh yeah, everyone gets the facial. Mm-hmm. So I actually gave them a certain gift. Maybe have like those iQuads, even a sample little pack works great as a gift as well to give them along with their facial and makeover. So I booked it just like normal and said, oh yeah, by the way, it's good for you up to 5 friends over the age of 18. I could family to do, but only you get the free prize because you're my winner. And so it's super simple. They all booked. I sold roll-up bags this past doing my 13 bookings in February.
Okay, Karis, we kind of lost you there for a second.
Oh, sorry.
How then? Okay, so you got the Francesca's thing. We heard that. Could you give the script again about how you booked them when you called them? Can you tell us that script again? No. No, you're frozen. Okay. All right, Karis, we've lost Karis Goelzer. We've lost connection to Karis. So you know what, you guys? We will get that script out to you on the area Facebook page, okay? So we'll have Karis get that out to us, exactly what she says. But you know, it's her excitement. And like Amy Newball talked about, is that it's calling people. She did not text her names, you guys. She called them and actually had a conversation with them or left them a message. Karis, are you back?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Do you want to hear my script?
What's your script?
Okay, so when I call them, I leave a message. I say, hi, this is Karis. I met you a couple days ago at Francesca's in the mall. I was doing the Women's Celebration event. I'm just calling because I have some super exciting news for you. So please give me a call back or shoot me a text when you get the chance. My number is, thanks, say their name, have a great day.
Okay, so you don't tell her what she's won or anything. You just say, I have some super exciting news for you. Please call me back or shoot me a text.
Right, to pique their interest.
Yeah, you guys see, women are all the same. They want to win, they want to be pampered, and they're people of curiosity. Like, they don't know, they call you back because they want to know what you're talking about.
Right. Like, I had someone, I called them on Monday. They called me back, but I was at a party on Monday night, so I didn't call them back. And then I was going to call them after school the next day, and they were so eager. They texted me the next day before I had a chance to call them back because they were like, what did I win? They like can't help but like contact me to book themselves.
Okay, could you guys get excited about people contacting you for bookings? All right, lastly, Karis, can you just give us just a brief scenario of how you book from your appointments, because you're one of the best consultants I know about booking from appointment to appointment. So how do you get parties from your parties?
Yeah, so it all starts with just having fun at your party. People, if you're fun, they'll want to come and have their own party. So having fun, playing games. Number one, the follow-up game is super duper duper key. If you don't do that, you won't book follow-ups. And so the follow-up game is just get a little mini hand cream off of Section 2 under samplers. They're like 50 cents per lotion, or even some samples that came in your starter kit. Put a bow on it, and that's your prize. So at the beginning of the party, after you introduce yourself, introduce the company, you talk about the satisfaction guarantee and said, so we have so many products in Mary Kay. If we tried them all, we'd be here for 4 hours. And they all laugh and giggle at you. You're like, so you get to have a second appointment, and that's called your follow-up. You get to try whatever you want of our whole entire Mary Kay line. You know that number 7 on your profile card you filled out with your facial features? Yeah, I put that in the computer, and a makeup artist makes you a specialized look just for you with application techniques and colors. I just learned contouring, so you can do that fun stuff, use my brushes, and there's more. You can invite friends to earn free product. So we all are going to book a follow-up today, and each time I say the word follow-up, you're going to pass this prize around in the circle. And at the end, whoever it lands on gets to take that prize home as a gift. And tonight, they were so competitive, just like an hour ago. They're like, oh, follow-up, pass it, pass it, pass it. At the end, not one person did not book a follow-up because they heard it so many times. I know someone said say it 7 times in your party. I say it like 40 or 50 times in my party. Every beauty book page says the word follow-up on it. Microderm, follow-up. Supplements, follow-up. Oh yeah, we'll learn that at your follow-up. Everything is all about the follow-up. And then individual closes. You don't ask them, are you going to have a follow-up? No. You say, when works best for your follow-up, weekday or weekend? They don't tell you no, rarely. And so they tell you yes, and you book them for your follow-up.
I loved what you said. You said, we are all booking follow-ups today. You just said it, you guys. She expects it. She talks about it. She's excited about it. And you say it like you say 50 times. You guys, it's like, it's not even subliminal. It's like in your face messaging.
Yeah, like they know I want them to book a follow-up.
Okay. And you guys, she expects it. It's the level of expectancy. You know, Amy was expecting bookings too because she's talking to people and she is going to be a sales director and she's expecting great things to happen. Are you expecting people to say yes? Or are you expecting people to say no? Now, you know what Amy told us? That lazy consultants text. And I know none of you who are on this Google Hangout are lazy consultants. Oh, my goodness. So thank you, Karis and Amy. I'm going to close up here in just a second. Holy cow, you've blown my mind. I don't know what's happening with this. I'm like in and out. I'm hazy. I'm sexy. I'm just fabulous tonight. I haven't had a lot of sleep in the last couple of days. Maybe that's part of this. But what I want to say is this. They said everything tonight. Being willing, my friends, willing to hold parties the right way. Doing like Cara says, playing the follow-up game. Don't resist what works, you guys. Don't resist what works. I'm serious. My camera can't see me, I guess. I don't know what's going on. But here we go. Some of you might be a little bit, you've got 10 bookings on your books right now, or you're going to get 10 bookings. And 10 is a magic number. Once you get it, keep it. And in fact, you should be like Karis, that you're expecting to get bookings from every appointment. So Karis went into tonight with, I think, 11 bookings on her books. She held one, but booked 3. So now she has 13 bookings on her books. You see what we're talking about? A booking will maybe fall off because you have a cancellation. That's normal. Things are going to happen. But I want you to be a bulldog about getting another one back on so that you always have 10 parties on your books. A consultant is never sad when she has parties on her books, especially 10. Mary Kay would always say that. She would never have a consultant quit when they had parties on their books. We only want to quit when there's nothing happening, right, you guys? And now you got great ideas from Amy and Karis on how to book people, even if you don't know anybody in your area. Both of these women who have the most bookings on their books are not from the areas where they are working their businesses, okay? No excuses. Becky Mueller often says, you can make excuses or you can make a difference. You get to choose. And so I hope that you choose to be a woman who makes a difference. And so here's the deal though. Your first 30 days of doing this is going to be maybe a little bit more difficult. Why? Because you're not that good. Let's be clear. If you haven't held 10 parties for a while, you're going to be a little bit rusty. If you've never held 10 parties at all, you have to learn. There's a learning curve. But this is what I challenge you to do. After every party, you go back to your sales director and you go over it with her so that you can get better at what you're already good at and you can fix what you forgot. Because otherwise, you are going to create bad habits, my friends. And remember, my prayer is, let the time away from my family, Lord, let me not waste the time away from my family. And if you're not doing parties to the best of your ability and not doing everything the Mary Kay way, you guys, you are wasting the time that you are away from your family. I'm going to do a little bit of this to get back into focus here. Okay. So that's what I'm going to challenge you. After every party, call your sales director. Do not text her. Call her, have a conversation, go through it all. Okay. Then number 2, the thing I'm going to ask you to do is not quit. Okay, don't quit after month 1. Cara saw 20 faces in the last 2 weeks. She only has 1 new team member. She wanted a lot more. Her results weren't what she wanted by the end of this month, but they're coming. They're coming because, you guys, 30 days of a power start, 30 days of seeing 30 or more faces, that creates momentum. Okay, that's exciting, but 90 days creates a movement. 90 days creates a movement. Are you willing? Are you willing to hold 2 parties a week for 90 days and not quit in the middle? So the first 30 days is going to be the hardest because you're building your skills and you're building your confidence. And you might, yeah, that's what it is. And you got to get those bookings going, right? But then you're going to play the follow-up game and you're going to assume the booking and you're going to get better and you're more fun and people are going to book with you. Now, the second 90 days, my friends, it could be the most frustrating. Because in that second 90 days, you are good and you're doing the right things. And maybe the results aren't coming yet. And you're starting to question, does the process work? And that's when you hit the third 90 days. And that's when all the math starts to multiply. And that's when the math turns into magic. But if you quit in the middle, you never get the magic. Okay? So I want to know if you're committed, not just to holding 6 to 10 parties, and 6 is the minimum because not all are going to hold, but holding 6 to 10 parties in February and March and April. And I'm going to put this out there. If you're committed to 5 months of that, you should earn a free car. Test it and see. Prove me wrong. I dare you. There should be free car drivers at seminar if you're willing to do this for the next 5 months. All right. Last thing, I'm going to give you a challenge. Heidi Goelzer is hosting the Madison Career Conference. If you have not registered for a career conference, do it. Okay, do it. Those who show up, go up. It is $95. There are career conferences local to you in the month of March. Talk to your sales director if you don't know about it. But you know what? If you don't invest in yourself, no one else is going to invest in you either. $95 plus probably about $35 for the hotel room. It's worth it. You guys, career conference is where my life was changed. See, I was in Mary Kay before career conference. And at my first career conference, Mary Kay got into me. Before that career conference, it took me 7 months to get into a red jacket. 7 months to have 3 active team members. At that career conference, I came home, and 5 days later, I had 4 new team members and had $11,000 in production and was on target for my free car. 7 months, 4 days. What changed? There wasn't a special on the starter kit. My brain changed. My belief changed. Events change lives. So here's the challenge for the Madison area directors and directors across the country. You can make whatever challenge you want for your people to have something special with you. But I'm going to have a pizza party in my room on Friday night. Did I get a suite? Am I going to get a suite? I'm getting a suite. Okay? So whoever wants to come hang out in my suite Friday night of career conference, when you do the perfect 6 or higher, when you hold 6 parties, do at least 6 career chats, and sell enough to place a 600 wholesale order, you're invited to my exclusive suite Friday night. And or there's another challenge that Mary Kay is giving you, and that is 3 new active team members in a month. Now, if you have people sign in December or January and they get active in February, all 3, and you have 3 people get active in February, or they sign in February and they place their orders, 3 of them, you get to go to a special luncheon at Career Conference. I was just at a January Jumpstart with 130 people. Guess how many people had earned the luncheon? 1. 1 out of 130. How many people in our national area have earned the luncheon? None. I don't think anybody's earned it. I'm looking at Kim in case you're wondering who I'm looking at over here. I don't think anybody's earned it. And that's not acceptable. Because you know what? Mary Kay gives you a free lunch. And Mary Kay herself would say, if I'm giving you beautiful food, why are you not eating it? Why are you going out to McDonald's when I'm going to give you a beautiful luncheon on China? Goelzer National Area, I'm making a call, sisters. I'm making a call. Get to the luncheon. Hold those parties, do them the right way, meet people, share this opportunity. I want to tell you something. You're going to sell product just because you're there. I promise you, you'll sell product because you love the product and you use it every day. But I want to remind you of something. You see, Mary Kay started the company, this opportunity, this unlimited opportunity, as Amy talked about, that even though she has a degree in engineering and she has a fancy job that we think is fancy, that she can work from her own home, she still has a boss. And she's still working to make somebody else money. Mary Kay made this opportunity, my friends, for you and for me, to have an unlimited opportunity. That was what she was most proud of. That's what she was most excited about. As Amy reminded us, she said, pass it on. Pass it on. You see, guys, then she found the product. Was Mary Kay passionate about the product? I would say she loved the product. It made her face feel great, and she knew women would buy it. But she always called the product a vehicle to change lives. If you're out there in the month of February just holding parties to hold parties, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. It's holding parties to find people who need to change their lives just like you did. And I'm going to close. I'm so happy that you quoted Mary Kay, Amy. I'm going to close with a quote from Mary Kay from her book, this book, Miracles Happen. This is what she said. Remember that the truly successful career is based on 3 requirements. 1, that you have the desire to succeed, and I know that you all do, or as I call it, the want to spirit, she says, the want to spirit. So number 1, the desire to succeed. 2nd, you must have the know-how. That's why you have training. That's why we have these Google Hangouts. That's why you have the Mary Kay website. That's why you have Success Night. That's why you have Career Conference. That's why you have Mary Kay in Touch. That's why you have the app. Hello, you have so much training, it's ridiculous. Okay, she says, secondly, you must have the know-how. Knowledge is power. It builds enthusiasm, and enthusiasm builds success, right, you guys? That's confidence. But listen to this, that neither desire nor knowledge is enough. The 3rd requirement is you must apply yourself. You can want to succeed with all of your heart. You may learn everything there is to know about your career, but unless you are willing, isn't that what these women just said? Willing. Unless you are willing to apply these skills, in other words, to work hard. Mary Kay said work. All of your efforts will be wasted. Unless you are willing to apply these skills, in other words, to work hard, all of your efforts will be wasted. My friends, this is the year of the willing. We all want it, but this year I'm looking for the willing, and I hope that's one of you. Hey, thanks for getting on this Google Hangout tonight. Thank you, Amy Newball and Goelzer, our champions of the 10 bookings or more. And guess what? It is only 8:39 Central Time. It's like less out on the West Coast, okay? It's still time to make phone calls, my friends. Phone calls and get those bookings and get those 10 and keep your word to yourself. I love you guys. I believe in you, and happy month end and happy February tomorrow. Bye, everybody.